be one, if you want to be successful, if you want to fill your head with knowledge and wisdom, you have to be ready to learn from people around you. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl here again, Ijoma Mado, Nigerian YouTuber based in Zurich, Switzerland. If you're stopping by for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for clicking in. I really do appreciate you, and please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notifications icon so that you always get notified each time I upload a new video. Okay, now let's get right into this video. Let's get into the reason why you are here. So I've been seeing a lot of comments, like when I go to my favorite influencers, Nigerian influencers here on YouTube, whom I believe are also some of your favorite influencers as well. Like when I go through this comment section, I usually see people like passing comments like, oh, you look older than your age, oh, you don't look so age, you look older, oh, you look sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's flattering, sometimes it could be annoying. I mean, when someone who is 20-year-old, I don't even think is there anything flattering about it. No, I think it should be annoying. And it's not just, when I mean it's annoying, I don't think it's just peculiar to Nigerians. I mean outsiders, even people like here in Switzerland. If a 20-year-old girl, if you're talking with a 20-year-old girl and you tell her that she looks old, or maybe you make any remark trying to say that she looks older, or maybe, oh, you look 25, that would be the end of that relationship. She wouldn't even like to come to you again. Like, I think nobody likes it when people tell them they look older, especially when we are grown. I know when we were little, people will often wish to look older. I mean, I remember when I was like 13, 14, I wanted people to see me as a big girl. I wanted people to see me, oh, she's matured. But then you see, when you get to 30, 35, even before you get to 30, even from 25, sometimes people in 25 who haven't achieved much wouldn't want people to see them as looking older. But people who are 25 and are okay with their age and are confident or whatever, when you tell them they look 30, they don't mind. But so I'm here to tell you some of the reasons why it happens to be so, why it's as though they look older than their age. Number one, some of our favorite influencers, at least some, not all, grew up or were born into liberal families. When I say liberal families, I mean families who are not so strict with tradition, or people, okay, let me split it this way, families who encourage their children to be outspoken. Let me say, for example, you know, especially in Nigeria, there are some things we are not supposed to say. It's more like we are not expected to be bold. But you see, some of our favorite influencers, they come out, they say the things you don't want to hear, or things that people are forbidden to talk about, or things that people consider not morally right, or maybe, at least, I don't really know how to put it, but I guess you understand what I'm saying. Like, there are some things, like, they are not afraid to voice out their opinions. Let me put it that way. So when people see, like in Nigeria or in the African society, I think, like, there are some things, someone's right to voice out their opinions is usually peculiar to the older generation, like, let me say, our mothers and our grandmothers. So when some of these influencers come out and are bold to say it, you see them talk about these things you don't want to hear about. People then assume, oh, because she's bold, that means she's already old. I don't know if you understand the similarity or the relationship between that. And that is number one. Number two, I think most of our favorite influencers started early. You know, when you start early, you're able to achieve so many things. Like, let me say maybe they started this YouTube when they are 20. So by the time they're getting to 25, 28, they have already achieved a lot, and people tend to assume that because they have achieved a lot, they are way older. Reason is because in Nigeria, I mean, when I was growing up, like when I was in my 20s, when I was in my early 20s, I hardly see someone who is within my age bracket doing so much. Like, you hardly see a 20-year-old girl riding a car. Here in Switzerland is nothing. In the diaspora is nothing. But in Nigeria, when you see a 20 is like a 25-year-old girl riding a car, is either she got it from her husband, or she got it from her parents, or through another means. But it's really difficult for you to see someone who is 25 already doing big things for herself, living the life of her dreams. So some of these are influencers, they started really early. So when they get to 25, or when they get to a certain age, and it's as though they have achieved so much for themselves, you now see people thinking, oh, because she has achieved so much for herself, that means she's really older. You don't blame them, because success is always an attribute of the old. I mean, when you talk about people who are making waves, like if you come to the Nigerian society, okay, presently, because of the use of internet, people are really making a whole lot of things. People are achieving a whole lot of things on the net, right from the comfort of their homes. But way back, you hardly see someone in their 20s doing great things, doing big things, or achieving or acquiring a particular amount of money. Like, it's not common in Nigeria to see a 30-year-old being a boss to a 55-year-old man. But here, you definitely see someone who is even, maybe he was there before this a 55-year-old man was there before a 30-year-old man came along. But then, because of his study or because of his wealth of knowledge, you see him now being the boss to this 55-year-old man. In Nigeria, something like that can never happen. I don't think it can ever happen. Like, maybe presently it can happen, but before, I don't think it can happen. So most of our favorite influencers started really early. So by the time they get into a particular age, we already assume, oh, because they are there. Like, I know I've said that before, so there's no need for repetition. This one is number 3. Some of our favorite influencers grew up in an environment that enables them, how do I put it, to be understandable, so that I wouldn't be misinterpreted. Like, let me say, some of our influencers grew up in a family where they have people who are well-read, let me put it that way, who are well-read. So what I'm trying to say here is that because many of them are knowledgeable about a whole lot of issues, we then assume that they are old. I don't blame you as well, and don't blame me as well. Reason, because we always attribute the gift of wisdom to be only peculiar to old people or to the elderly. Because many of them are knowledgeable about a whole lot of things, you then think, oh, because she knows a lot, it means she is older. Does it make sense? Yeah, like I said, many of them, because of the environment they grew up in, or because they were opportuned to have elder siblings, so they have people who taught them, and they are able to pull a whole lot of wisdom from their siblings or from their relatives' knowledge, wealth of knowledge, bank of knowledge. So I think that's better. So they are able to pull to learn one or two things from them. So when they talk, you think, oh, she knows so much because of the knowledge they have, because there's so much wisdom in what they say. You then start assuming that, oh, because she knows so much, that means how can she say she's 20 years? How can she say she's 25? How you're 25 and you already know all these things? Because they read books and they learn from people around them. So if you want to be one, if you want to be successful, if you want to fill your head with knowledge and wisdom, you have to be ready to learn from people around you. Get ready to read books, not just books recommended in schools. I mean, I'm also guilty of that in the past, but now I try to. Once in a while, when I stumble across something that I like, or an article I try to read, I try to fill my head with more knowledge and more wisdom. So I think you should also do the same, so that you stop attributing, so that not when you see someone who is talking or someone who is really speaking with a whole lot of sense in what they're saying, you then start assuming because she knows too much, she is already old. No, stop it, it's not good. And the last one I think should be Ihedidiri. That is my native language, which is Igbo. Be when you eat so much money. They say it's evidence of good living. I mean, in the past, when a woman is fat after getting, maybe a slim lady gets married and then you see her fattening up, all of a sudden people say, oh, her husband is taking care of her. That's the evidence of good living. She's really living good. So before, when maybe some of them are living sedentary lifestyles, they then eat, and before they get big. Of course, we cannot underestimate the effects of fatness, or the effect fatness or being fat has on our age. When you're too big, I'm sorry, I'm not body shaming anybody. No, 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 please don't just come for me. This is not a video to body shame anybody. I'm only saying what I'm thinking or what I think. So you can also drop your own thoughts in the comment section. When you're too big, you look older than your age, it's obvious. Or sometimes even when someone is so tall and huge, obviously they will look older than their peer, than the same people, or people who have the opposite percentage of body fat, or people who have the opposite body type as they do. They will obviously look older. We also know childbirth can equally make one look older. Maybe you get you give birth and before you know it, you've added weight. Then when they see your your mates who are still single and who haven't yet had a child, or who are not even stressed up, before you know it, like when they are being seen, when they place you side by side with them, you see you already look older than them. Well, you can still do something about that. Exercise and manage your diet. It's not everything cham. You just try to minimize what you eat, or not really minimizing what you eat. You have to make good choices when you're talking about what you're eating, what to eat and what not to eat. Another thing, the way they dress. They say the way you dress is the way you'll be addressed. If you want people to address you as a young lady or address you as a 75-year-old, go ahead and dress like a 25-year-old. Stop dressing in such a way that people will see you and they'll think you're already 20 years older than your age. If you don't like it when people tell you, oh, you look older, you look really older, I think you can still do something about that, which is dress like a young woman, dress like a young mom, dress like a young lady, dress exactly as you want people to address you. If you dress like a madam, we call you madam. If you dress like a young woman, we call you young woman. If you dress like Siseko, same thing goes to Mami Yabu and all that. So what do you think about this video? Is not so much, I know, not so much. You might equally, I think it's educative. If you want to make it a life, start early. If you want to acquire knowledge, sit with people who have experienced so much and read good books. Try to build up your own knowledge. Try to add to what you already know and all that. And if you don't want people to address you as a young woman, you have to keep fit. Try to lose excess body fat, which isn't doing you any good anyway. I mean, if it's not doing you any good, you can lose excess body fat. And you can equally try to exercise. Then lastly and not the least, try to dress as you want people to address you. If you want people to address you as a young woman, you do that. If you want them to address you as mama, you do that. If you want them to address you as mother-in-law, someone's mother-in-law, you still do that. I mean, there are different dressings to portray our different ages. So, and that is that for this video. What do you think about it? Is it nice? Is it nasty? Is it all over the place? Was I just rambling? Was I bluffing? Was I talking nonsense? Whatever it is you think that I'm doing, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please, I am begging you again, if you're new to the channel, you're not yet subscribed, please don't hesitate to click on the red button, turn on the bell icon so that you always get notified each time I upload a new video. And of course, give it a big thumbs up, comments, share, and I'll definitely see you all in my next video. For now, bye.